Good evening. I'm Ed Murrow. The name of the program is Person to Person. It's all live, no film. I'm told that all little boys have dreams. Some of them want to be policemen. Others would like to be football stars. Others would like to be a skipper on a Navy ship. Others would like to be newspaper reporters, or perhaps a United States senator, or married to a most attractive bride. Senator John Kennedy of Massachusetts has accomplished all these things in his 36 years, except being a policeman. This seems to be rather the marrying season for senators. I understand that the two of you had a very much publicized courtship. How did the two of you meet?
We met at the house of a friend about 2 years ago.
And you used to be a reporter, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you first met the senator when you interviewed him?
Well, I interviewed him shortly after I met him.
Well, now, which requires the most diplomacy, to interview senators or to be married to one?
Well, I think
being married to one, I guess.
Well, have you opened all your wedding gifts?
Well, I've opened quite a few of them, and I sent them all to Washington. We just have a couple back here.
Aha. Senator, I wonder if you would show us around your apartment a bit?
Certainly will. Fine tomorrow.
Okay.
This, I remember when you were over in England, and I thought you might remember this picture that was taken when my family were all over there in 1939 when my father was ambassador.
Oh, I remember it very well. There he is in the center, isn't he?
Yes, that's right. And I have my 8 brothers and sisters. That's almost the last time we were all taken together, and brings back happy memories.
Well, Senator, you had some rather anxious moments yourself during the war, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You were in PT boats, weren't you?
Yes, I was. During the Solomon Islands campaign, we worked off of, first off of Tulagi and then off the Rendover and the New Georgia Island, and then finally up close to Bella La Bella towards the end of 1943.
Is that a model of your PT boat there?
Yes, it is. That was made over at, by some friends of mine over at the Boston Navy Yard. The PT on which I was on, PT 109, was cut in two while we were attacking a Jap destroyer on August 2nd, 1943. And we more or less hit head-on. At least he hit over through here and cut through to the end of the boat and proceeded, unfortunately, on his way. We, after about 6 or 7 days, we landed on Nauru Island and ran into a native, and we gave him a coconut and with a message written on it, which he took back to Rendover. When I get back to Rendover a couple of days later, I picked up the coconut, and I have it here in plastic, so it's pretty well shrunk up, but at least it reminds me of a interesting experience.
Interesting. I should think that would be one of the great understatements. Senator, what's the picture just above the coconut there on the wall?
Well, that's a picture of the destroyer 850, which was named after my brother. He was, after they landed at D-Day, the rocket emplacements, as you remember, were bothering the British, and they sent over some radar-controlled planes, which the pilot was supposed to bail out, and then the plane was to be guided into the target, the rocket emplacement, but the plane blew up too soon, and so this destroyer was named after him by the Navy. You might be interested to know, to prove that wars sometimes bring people together. During the campaign last summer, it was written up in Time magazine that I was running, and it mentioned our experience in the Solomons, and I got a letter about a month later from the commander of the Japanese destroyer, which ran us down, which turned out to be the Amagiri. He read, when I read the Time magazine of August 18th, 1952, which mentioned the battle in question, my memory being refreshed, I can vividly recall what happened at the time. He said, it was early in June 1943, I was transferred to Rabaul as the commander of the destroyer Amagiri. From that time, the counterattack of the American forces became increasingly offensive. In one of the night battles in August 1943, I sighted a bold enemy boat of small size was heading directly towards my destroyer of a larger type. Having no time to exchange gunfire, the ships came so close to each other my destroyer had to my destroyer had to directly hit the enemy boat, slicing it in two. To my great surprise, this boat happened to be the PT, which was under your command. And so that he sent me good wishes in the campaign, and I hope sometime if I ever go to Japan to meet him.
Did you have a chance to do much reading?
Yes, I used to very much, and I try to do it as much as I can now.
Have you found anything that has been particularly useful, or perhaps I could use the word inspirational to you?
Well, I do have something here. It was written by Alan Seagull, who, as you remember, was born in New York and fought in the Foreign Legion and was killed in the First World War in 1916.
Yes.
He wrote that famous poem, I Have a Rendezvous with Death. And just before he died, he wrote a letter home to his mother, which I think has good advice for all of us. He said, "Whether I am on the winning or losing side is not the point with me. It is being on the side where my sympathies lies that matters. Success in life means doing that thing than which nothing else conceivable seems more noble or satisfying or remunerative, and then being ready to see it through to the end." I think that's probably good advice for all of us.
Well, Senator Kennedy, thank you very much for letting us come to visit you, and will you also express our thanks to Mrs. Kennedy?
Thank you very much, Mr. Murrow.